Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Katsukai channel. I feel like it's been a long time since I have said that and sat in front of a camera, which I'll get to towards the latter half of this video here. This is going to be kind of a random video. Really, today I just want to talk about the manga and books I've been reading, what I recently picked up in a haul, what I want to read before maybe the end of the year. I am going to make a new rule for the channel. I have a bag of books here. I think my general rule of thumb now is once I fill this up with, manga and books, that's going to be the time where we go and talk about them. So I'm going to start off with what I have read recently. It's not long. It's since about October, November of this year. And of course I have my Kindle around here somewhere, and I'm going to talk about the things I read on my Kindle. First, here we have Daisy Jealousy. This is by the same mangaka that did Yaruja and Bitch Club, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know how I feel about that one. But I really liked this one. So this one you follow, of course, your two main characters. And I guess they kind of grew up together, so they went to the same university, and they're both into kind of game development, game design. And one of them is kind of like a prodigy, right? He's always been fucking good at, rendering and whatnot, which they have a lot of verbiage and language regarding it, which is pretty cool also. And the other one, he's good as well, but he's not like a prodigy, and he works really hard to get where he is, right? And they start spending time together, not because I think they had a project together, but really they were doing some kind of personal project between both of them just for funsies. And things kind of come to a head, and they disconnect over the years, and then they reunite later down the road, and it kind of goes from there. If you saw a video I did on my channel about a month or two ago, I did a read with me, and I featured this manga here, so share a little bit of my thoughts there. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I'm excited to get to Escape Journey eventually. I think I'm gonna do a poll, which may already be up. I'll put it on the screen if it's up, kind of second chance BLs, that whatever you all want me to read next, and I'll do a video dedicated to that. But yeah, this is really good. Don't give up on this mangaka. Okay, if you didn't like Yaruja and Bitch Club, this has a plot. It has a fucking plot, okay? Next two, we have Twilight Out of Focus. I have volumes 1 and 2. I really like these. I think I have the next two volumes, so I have 3 and 4, which I believe volume 3, I'm looking at it on my shelf. I think volume 3 kind of goes back to this couple in volume 1, and then volume 4 is a completely new couple. So it's following these different guys in this film club, right? So for this first one, these two are roommates, and one of them, the blonde-haired one, is gay, and I guess makes a promise to him, which I found was kind of goofy, oh, I won't come on to you, which I feel like that's a stupid stereotype that people in the LGBT community get. The other one promises he won't tell anyone that he's gay and that has a boyfriend or whatever. That whole shit, right? So the one with black hair is in this film club, and they need a main actor for a film that they're doing for a final project or something. The blonde hair guy gets recommended, and then they build a relationship from there. So I really liked it. It didn't have an element, just, I guess, trigger warning for a not so legal relationship that one of the characters has. But what I like about that is that the character realizes that this is not good, even though it's not his responsibility to realize that it's not a safe or normal relationship, let's say. But yeah, that one was really cute, and it was a good start to introducing you to that whole Twilight Out of Focus world. I really enjoyed the second volume, way more. I really like these characters more. I just connected with them more. So these two, of course, are in that film club as well. So the one with the red hair, I think he's a third year, which is that like senior? Because like in America, it's typically 9th through 12th grade, so that's 4 years. And like when you're a year 4, you're a senior. But I've heard, I don't know, on the West Coast in America, it's like junior high is like 6 through 9 or 7 through 9, and then high school is like 10 through 12. I don't know. It seems like most of the places it's 3 years in high school. But anyways, he's a third year, the one with the red hair. The one with the black hair is a second year, and they're both, I guess, directors, and they're in the club, but for their year, essentially. And they've always, it's kind of like enemies to lovers. Like, they've always butted heads. One of them thinks their ideas are like, it's so over the top, it's so extra. And the other one's like, well, your ideas are safe, they're too boring, blah, blah, blah. They always have disagreements there, but they, you know, begin to spend more time with each other, and then realize maybe they, you know, had something in the past with one another. But I'm giving a really bad synopsis, but actually it was really good. Really enjoyed this. I still need to check out the anime on Crunchyroll. Okay. Last manga we have here. Girl, I didn't like this. No. This was not for me. So the last one we have here is Romeo. This is the first volume. N-O spells no. Girl, as I'm trying to remember what this is about.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So, okay, based on this cover, I was like, this shit about to be bomb. Okay. So, okay. Alright. Okay. So, I just short-circuited. This takes place in a world where there's like warlocks and hunters and stuff like that. Girl, this is about to be real bad. Okay, and it's kind of like Omegaverse in a way. Yes, no. I kind of don't know what these creatures are, right? So, you know what? I'm just gonna say this one character has a tail, so I'm gonna just call him a Saiyan. So there's these Saiyans, right? They can like live a long time, and they release these pheromones. So the main character here, like, I guess he would be what you would call an Omega, right? And he's on this team, and people always tell him, oh my god, you know, based on your pheromones, you should be careful because there's weird people out there who would take advantage of you. But the people who would say that would be the same people to be weirdly touching on him throughout the story. Right? So that was already a weird dynamic. And supposedly he has these pheromones that are so enticing, so alluring, so mindful, very demure, that any other being in this universe would take everything in their power for them not to pounce on him. Except one member of his team that is for some reason immune to said pheromones, and it's this character right here, the one that's kind of like out of the frame or out of the picture here. But about that character, right? So if you recall, I did a reading log earlier in the year, and I talked about a manga, Platinum Blood, and my issues with that, right? This man, the main character, I'm just gonna call him Romeo. I don't think that's his name, but whatever. So the main character, Romeo, like, met his love interest when he was a literal child. What in the Stephanie Meyer, Jacob, Resme, whatever her name is that? And that whole dynamic was weird. And then just like I said, the whole thing of like, everywhere he went, someone was groping him. But for why? Like, girl, there you go. Those are all the manga I've read in the last couple months. But let's get to some of the books I've read. I have one physical book and then some books I read on my Kindle. For the physical book I read here, I have Days at the Murasaki Bookshop, and this is as you can see, quite short, but clearly I went crazy with the tabbing here. This was very good. I would highly recommend it if you haven't read it. So essentially we're following Takako, and she's kind of like quarter life, right? I think she's around like 25, like early 20s to mid 20s in this novel, and it's kind of going through a couple things. So she had this boyfriend that all of a sudden just said, hey, by the way, I'm just getting married in like 2 weeks, right? And that boyfriend was a coworker of hers. So from there, work got more difficult because she had to be around this guy and what have you, and she kind of just spiraled into this depression, and was just kind of living in that until her uncle reached out to her like, hey, I know we haven't talked since like you were a child, but you know, I heard things are rough. You can come here and work at my bookshop. I have a free room up there, no cost to you. Just would like to see you again, right? And she's like, you know, what else do I have? Let me go see him, right? And from there, she really discovers her love of books, learns more about her uncle, learning more about Momoko, which is her uncle's wife, because they have kind of like a falling out, and then that whole story there. But I really enjoyed this one because it was something I needed at the time, stepping outside of your comfort zone and really learning more about yourself and the possibilities of life, right? And also there's other things explored, like how people deal with not trauma, I don't think that's the right word, but like conflict or disagreements in life, because both Takako, her uncle, and Momoko approach life very differently. Like if there's like some obstacle or conflict, their response to it is very different from one another, but also very similar. So there's a lot of things that you can look at in terms of this book. It's only like, I don't even think it's 300 pages. It's barely 200 pages. No, I don't even think it's 200 pages, and there's so much in there. So I would highly recommend this book. And I recently picked up the second book, More Days, at the Murasaki bookshop. So I'm excited to read that. I have a couple other things I want to read first before I get there. Been reading a lot of M/M romances, so I do want to talk about a few that I have read. So first I read, and I'll put them on the screen somewhere here, somewhere around my big head. But first I read Game Misconduct. I think this is by Ari Baran. I think I'm saying their name correctly. This one I enjoyed. The cover had a man that was not white. He didn't look white on there, which no shade. It's just, if you read a lot of M's, like, you know, male romances, most of them like have just like a white dude on the cover. So this one actually has two main characters that are of color. So we have Mike Sato, which I think he's Japanese American if I'm not mistaken. And then we have Danny Garcia, who is he Mexican American? That intrigued me immediately. So this is a hockey romance. So both of them are in the NHL. They play hockey. They aren't like a Sidney Crosby, right? They're not like that. They're not like superstars. They're kind of like, I guess, bench warmers in a way. I'm hockey adjacent, so I don't know much about the hockey space, but I do know they're not like Sidney Crosby. Both of them have this like rivalry, right? Every time their teams play each other, and I think they're division rivals, they always have to fight, right? And if you ever seen a hockey game, you know they let them motherfuckers fight. I remember when Atlanta used to have a team. It used to be the Atlanta Thrashers. They used to like give out tickets at school, by the way. And my mom like found one of the tickets like in my like agenda. She's like, let's just go to a hockey game. I think you would like it. I did, and I remember when she was going to get food, there was a fight that broke out. I was like, what the fuck? They're fighting? Like, there would be so many flags, like technical flagrants. The NBA would never. The NFL would never. Like, you get a flag for just going like this at somebody's face in the NFL. Like, you would never. But NHL, they're about that action. Back to Game Misconduct. So they have this, it's like enemies to lovers. They have this, you know, rivalry and all that stuff. You know, they find themselves in a situation where it's the off season, and Mike's friend, his best friend that he lives with, is like overseas with like her boyfriend. They have a chance meeting, and They have some fun, and then it goes from there. I enjoyed it overall. I think if I had to give it any kind of rating, it would be like somewhere between a 3-4 star. I like that the characters were both POCs. I really enjoyed that, as well as them exploring different themes. So this isn't a spoiler, it's pretty obvious throughout the story, but Danny does struggle with depression, and then Mike has his own issues as well, like severe trust issues. One thing I didn't like though, which sometimes is a little bit of a theme in like male romances, is like the broiness. But that's one thing I did like, because the broiness was in the language. Because sometimes they'll paint the picture of the character, right? And they're a bro. And then they're over here.
Thus, if he came to thee, if he shall not, go hither thither, to henceforth fortnight.
It's like, bitch, I know his vocabulary is not that vast. Like, I know he's not. So, I like how the author wrote them true to character. Like, Mike is a fucking bro. He is a bro that drinks protein shakes and shit. He's gonna be like, dude, like, I like you, dude. That's how he's gonna sound. I liked that, okay? But on the flip side of that, an issue I had was the broiness in the sense, like, instead of saying I love you, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face, bro. I'm gonna punch you in the face. Yeah, I got a black eye because I love you, bro. Oh, he won't talk to me? I'm just gonna fucking fight him. Yeah. Well, Danny didn't text me back. I feel like getting punched in the face, bro. Like, I know even the broest of the broest don't want to get punched in the face. Anyways, that was a small issue in the grand scheme of things, but overall, enjoyed that one. And I read Illegal Contact. This is by Santonio Hazel. I'll put it up. I think I'm saying their name correctly. This one was interesting. So you're following your two main characters, Gavin and Noah. So Gavin is, I think, a tight end in the NFL, I think. And he kind of has a, your typical rough upbringing. And he had an incident during the off season where he like beats the shit out of some guy, because I guess he got some like incriminating stuff on someone's phone. Is actually his teammate. So his teammate is closeted, and this person took video of that teammate. So he chased after that guy, beat the shit out of him, said, you need to delete this shit. So he gets suspended for an entire season, and then he's under house arrest for about 6 months, right? So that's where he's at. Noah, on the other hand, is a recent new grad who's drowning in debt and moves back into his dad's apartment. His dad just lost his job. So he's like, fuck, I need some money. So when a job came up to be essentially this NFL player's babysitter, essentially, he's like, fuck that. I'm gonna do it. It seems easy. I don't have to do much, and I can like pay off my debt, right? So he does it. So now they're living in this house together, and they develop a relationship, and it goes from there. This one was interesting just because how do I say this? Okay, so there's a part where he invites one of his male hookups over, right? And Noah happens to come back like when they're hooking up, right? And he hears him, of course, engaging in a recreational activity with this man. But what he says fucking threw me. Like, what? Like, who says that in real life? But yeah, it's a little corny at times. But other than that, I think it's just like, if you want something you can just like read in a weekend, read in a day. If you have a day where you're just gonna be at home, that's a good one. Anyways, that is what all I've read in terms of other books as well. Not a lot for the last couple of months, but just kind of been doing other things. There were 2 comebacks back to back. 17 had a comeback in October, and then AT's had a comeback in November. So I had a lot that I was doing in terms of that. I'm going to be reading a lot more, which brings me to this next part of the video, where I'm going to go into kind of some things I've picked up in the last couple of months. I did have a buying ban. I think that I started in June or something of this year, and I went all the way till October. So I did what I was supposed to do. But in my birthday month, I did pick up some other things as well. So I kind of want to talk about, you know, what I've picked up in this haul. So it's going to be a short haul. All BL. Of course, I should just title this BL something. I don't know. It's going to be a short haul. There's only about five. One was sent to me first. Some things I picked up. I picked up My Dearest Patrolman. This is volumes 1 and 2, which I didn't even know volume 2 was out, but here's volume 1. Here's volume 2. Yeah, so this one I was really excited for it to be released in English. I think I read a couple of chapters online like years ago, like at least like a year or two ago. And I thought this was a really cute story. I think it just follows, you know, this police officer and I guess like his, I don't know, his boyfriend. I'm honestly not too sure. I didn't want to read too much on the back. I wanted to kind of jump into it like how I jumped into it the first time, just really not knowing what it was about at all. Okay, I don't know how long this will be. I don't think it will be incredibly long, so I think I'll pick up the rest of the volumes in the series. I do want to read the first two first. So second, I picked up Tied to You Volume 2, and I think in a vlog a few months ago I was actually sent Volume 1 by Yen Press, so thank you Yen Press for sending me that. But I wanted to pick up the second one because I really enjoyed that first volume and I want to see where we're going. And last of my like little Kinokuniya haul is Here You Are Volume 1. I've been looking for this because I know Aloha Comics I think released 4 volume 1s that they released or printed in English here, and I was so excited for Here You Are. This is one of my favorite, I guess, like, would this be like a shonen ai? It's not really spicy at all. I think like the author did like some bonus chapters that were spicy or like bonus art or some shit like that. If you haven't read this, do yourself a favor. Please read it. It's really good. Of course, these two are your main characters. Yu Yang and Li Huan are your two main characters here, but there's other couples they follow in this as well. So they're all kind of like a group of friends essentially. And last thing I hauled was sent to me actually by Yen Press. So thank you Yen Press for sending this over. This is Semantic Error Volume 1. When I went to that panel in, what was it, March of this year, and they announced that this was being released, I nearly lost my shit. But I didn't lose my shit because I was there by myself, so I looked like a psychopath. This is a very popular BL. I think they have there's like a K-drama about this as well. So of course you have your two main characters, and like Daisy Chelsea, I think it's kind of around game design. So this character's like very organized and structured, but this person, the other main character, kind of comes into his life and really kind of wrecks his routine. And I think that's kind of how like the semantic error comes into play, because like anytime he does something, like it's like glitch. Oh shit, I'm buffering. I'm excited to get into this again. Yeah, that is all that I hauled, which is actually very good for me, because that is everything in the last 3-4 months. Have not been purchasing a lot, but that's good. I'm taking time to actually read and kind of getting into other hobbies, and I have a new co-star on this channel, which he's been shockingly good. He's like in my room napping, so does not care. His name's Naruto. He's probably going to be in the videos coming up here. So I've been spending a lot of money on him essentially. So by the time this video goes up, if I'm actually punctual, I will be at Anime Weekend Atlanta, and I definitely am gonna do a big old vlog for that. Probably the videos for the rest of the year are gonna be kind of vault videos, so things I had already pre-filmed, and I just need to edit and upload. But other than that, I will continue yapping forever here. I hope you enjoyed this video of just me chatting about what I've been reading, what I want to read. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Keep reading manga, and I will see you all in a new video very, very soon. Bye!